round 16 here. Obviously, we're going to be focusing on fungal growth, but we also need a couple of infested Terrans out from each of the infestors as well to make sure that these zealots actually die. There's a neat little trick to allocating the energy between both infestors, and you'll see me drop 2 infested Terrans on one side and 2 on the other. And that is so when both are selected, it'll take the energy from the closest infestor in order to make that little ball, and then you don't have to worry about switching between them. So we'll see what that looks like. One kind of got free there. That's not what I can see. So on round 16 here, obviously we're focusing on fungal growth, but we also need a couple of infested Terrans from the infestors as well, and they have to be allocated in a way that uses their energy efficiently. So we're going to put 2 on this side and 2 on this side in order for the AI to divide it up equally between the infestors. It'll take the energy from the closest one to where we actually drop it, so you don't have to change targets or anything. We ended up with 1 too few there, but we're going to end up winning anyway, so that's fine. Ideally, you're supposed to have 2 on each side, misclicked a little bit, but you can see you can get it done obviously with 3 there, and you can actually even get it done with less if you micro the infestors around and distract the zealots from actually attacking the infested Terrans themselves. This one is surprisingly simple, but I think it's just there to teach people this ability if they don't know it exists. There's a such thing as mineral walking. So your any worker unit, if you click directly on a mineral patch, will just walk through anything in the way except for buildings. So it will walk through any other unit, and then we're gonna run home to the little beacon. So as soon as the thing goes, we're just gonna get the hell out of there by clicking on one of the minerals, and once we're free, I'm just gonna micro around until I'm to the green spot, and that's all there is to that one, just to teach people that that trick does in fact exist. On to stim micro here. Everyone's kind of seen this, just stutter stepping with a marine stemmed up. Remember, it's going to take 10 of your health, so you can do it up to 4 times, provided that you don't get hit by the zealot. So don't overstim, but basically you do need almost all of it, certainly to be able to win this, or at least comfortably, depending on what your micro is like in stutter stepping. And you can definitely do this whole thing without actually getting hit by a zealot. You'll see some people do much more frequent stutter stepping, and they're a little more fluent with it. I don't actually play Terran very much myself. It's probably my least played of all 3. Just be aware of when your stim's about to run out so that you're not too close to the zealot at that time. But again, it's just a matter of staying ahead, which you can do with relative ease, and you don't even really have to get hit in that, so that shouldn't be too hard. This one with the Void Ray is just another one I think they put in to make people aware of one of the features of the Void Ray, which is that its weapon charges up over time. So what we're going to do is actually attack our own structure. I think that's what they're trying to demonstrate. You can click attack and actually attack your own structure. You can attack your own units, whatever, until we've got a fully charged beam. with the fully charged beam, we then attack the thing that we actually want to, and the void ray should come out with about 10 hit points, I think. Yeah. And that's the way it is. So you can charge that off of pylons, your own units, your own buildings. You can charge it on rocks, whatever you want. The blink train, again, they are just trying to make people aware of this feature. You don't see this a lot. I remember earlier, in the earlier days of SC2, it was just kind of cool that you could do this, but I don't see it a lot in play these days. But it is a neat feature. You can basically shift click to a location, shift click the blink, and then shift click to another location so that it will approach it, blink sequentially up onto the ledge, and then continue on its merry way. So we'll see what that looks like. This is actually bugged a little, so there are actually times when it doesn't work that well, and we'll leave a couple behind, which is exactly what it did just there. So this one, round 20, is the blink train. Again, they just want to make you aware of this ability that you can actually queue up your blinks so that the units will blink sequentially as they hit a certain point. So that's what we're going to do. Queue them up to this ledge, blink them onto the ledge, and then continue them to this little ending spot up there. So with everything selected, we're simply shift clicking again, and then shift clicking to an end location. So on round 20 here, again, another thing, I think just making people aware of a feature that does exist in the game. You can actually shift queue the blink up as well. So you can run towards a location, blink on top of it, and then just keep on moving, or even attack move from that point. So we're just shifting everything together. We're shifting it to this location, shifting a blink, and then continuing to the end location. And for some reason, this little game does leave things behind. I don't know what those are. So on round 20 here, they're basically just making you aware of a little feature in the game that does allow you to shift click your blink moves as well. So you can move to a place, queue up the blink that's going to happen there, and actually then queue a movement on the other side of that, and that's what we're going to ultimately see here. So I'm going to shift the location with everything selected, shift the blink, and then shift to the end. It shall be as you say. So in challenge number 20 here, no enemy units at all. They just kind of want to show you this movement with the blink stalkers, that you can shift to a location, shift queue up your blink, and then even continue with another movement after that. So we're going to be shift clicking the location that we want to go here, queuing up that blink, and then ultimately ending up where we want to be in this little weird beacon thing, and that's it. So it was just a matter of shift clicking to here, holding down shift while blinking up top, and then taking your hand off blink while still holding down shift, and right clicking to the place that you ultimately want it to be. So on this one, what we're essentially going to do is move the zealots kind of away from the banelings, while trying to split them up by getting individual ones to hold position. So what I'm going to do is tell the entire group at the start to hold position. Then I'm going to have pre-controlled certain units. So in this case, everything except this one up front, I'm going to put on control group 1. So initially with everything selected, I'm just going to hold position. Then I'm going to select that group and actually send them all the way to the bottom, and then select individual units and tell them to hold wherever they are.
We stand as one. Justice be command me. My meditation order is not. My meditation is over.
So on this round, basically an easy way to split in this type of formation with this type of unit is to take a group that you want to be going with you and load them into a control group. When we start, I'm just going to use hold position. I use the grid. For you, that's going to be a different key, or for some people. So initially I'm going to say hold position right off the bat, and then I'm going to tell my control group to go way down here to the bottom of where we want to go.
We are the blades of iron.
So the key to this round is really getting things to split up, but then also hold position where they are. One of the best ways to do this is to actually take the entire group of units and start sending them in one direction, and then individually click hold position, hold position, hold position on each one as you kind of split them off, so that you've got most things going away from the banelings, and then you're just leaving ones behind in kind of random locations. So we're going to start off initially by selecting ones that I would like to come with me and putting that in one control group, but then starting off with everything and starting off with a hold position command.
Command me. We are the blades and we stand as one. Order we stand.
So around 21 here, the key to this obviously is splitting everything up so that it's all hit individually. If any of these are overlapping, there's going to be too many banelings and it's all going to die. So the way to get around that is to split things up while individually telling each thing to hold position. So we are going to start with this lead zealot trying to hold position up top. So I'm going to select everything at the beginning, but control group everything except that top zealot. The top zealot, I'm going to tell everything at the beginning to hold position, and then pull this control group part back while then individually telling its members to hold position in various locations along the path backwards.
We stand as one. We are the blades of justice be done. We stand as one. Command me. My meditation is over.
So around 21 here, the key to this one is really the ability to tell individual units to hold position in various locations, and the fact that you can actually queue up the hold position command. So you can tell it to go somewhere and shift click the hold position command, and then when it gets to that location, it will stay in that location. So that's really the key to this. When we initiate this round, I'm going to tell everything to hold position. Then I'm going to take this control group and send it way back to the bottom, While this one stays in position, I'll split that one off and start splitting individual ones off, each with the instruction queued up that they're going to hold position wherever I put them. That way they're not going to try and run back together and get hit by the same banelings. We want everything to be hit separately.
My meditation is over. We stand as command me.
And we can see by splitting them all off like that, we end up with that going on by just kind of leaving one at the top, pulling one aside, sending another 5 back to the beginning, and then splitting off individual ones, each time giving a location and shift, hold position, shift, hold position, shift, hold position. They all stayed where they were. We did end up with 2 near the bottom that got some overlap, but it's enough that that this one does come out alive. This one is actually much easier than it looks. We're going to divide everything ahead of time in 2 groups. We're then just going to start off by taking the lings and moving them off to the side, putting the banelings up front. Then instead of actually attack moving with the banelings, we're just going to move the banelings forward into where the other army is, and knowing that they're going to kind of come right for us, it usually works for some reason. So on this particular one, what we're going to be doing is splitting these into 2 different control groups so that your lings are in one control group and your banelings are in another. When we start this off, I'm going to be pulling the lings over to the side and then just bringing the banelings directly into the other army. The computer controlled army here, the Galactic Arbiters, do try and micro against you a bit, but if you just move command into them as opposed to attack command into them, it does kind of confuse the AI a little bit, and then you can just detonate the banelings as they hit a very dense part and finish everything off with your own lings. So what we're going to be doing on this one is basically separating these into 2 different control groups. Then as the fight starts, we're going to actually pull the lings just to one side. And then simply actually move command those into the enemy army. That should actually leave us with enough lings to take it away. By not actually sending the banelings in on an attack command, it somewhat screws up the AI on the other side, and they're kind of coming right for you. So when they try and engage with their lings and their banelings, they're in too close quarters. They're trying to get over to this side towards yours, and everything just bunches together, and you do just come out ahead on that. Round 23 here is a pretty good use of the tab key. You can either have these set on different control groups, or you can just have them together as one, and we're just going to tab between the different abilities. We're going to EMP both of the Banshees and then just hit stem on the Marines and focus each one of them down. So try and just EMP underneath where you think the Banshee is going to be. It will disrupt the cloak that the Banshee has, and then we're just going to stem and kill them. And and that's about it. You can get away with that with a few more Marines left, but it doesn't really matter. There's no achievement or anything on that one. On this one, we get to what I think is the most fun part of the game. I've actually done an entire video just on Blink. If anyone wants to check that out, Blink Micro is a lot of fun, and frankly, it's why I did ultimately decide to pick Protoss after like 3,000 games as a random player. It's just a lot of fun to do. There is an achievement on this particular thing, so there is a fairly you do have to be decent with the Blink Micro, but it's not too many of them, so there's not a whole lot to keep track of here. So as they come in, I'm going to actually focus fire the front one, which is actually key. The idea is to get your fire focused on one at least to begin with, take it out quickly, and then your blinking is going to be enough to save everything else. You're always going to know which ones are about to go down, and we want to let their shields kind of run out. So round 24, this is one of my favorite aspects of the game. Frankly, I really love Blink Micro. It's just kind of cool. And in this case, 6 on, what do we got, 8 there. It's pretty neat to do, and just shows you kind of the power of it, and it's something everyone should incorporate into their game. This one is also an achievement, so if you actually keep everything alive in this, then you do get the achievement for round 24. So what we're going to do is, as we attack, I'm going to focus fire down this roach, and then notice that I'm not just blinking to the back. I'm actually going to be blinking directionally so that I control what thing gets hit next, and that I can do it because I'm going to have to blink everything probably twice in order to keep everything alive. So I want to be controlling what direction I'm actually going in so that I know which ones are going to hit next. So round 24 here, this is to me one of the most fun aspects of the game, blinking. And so what I'm going to do is be focus firing down the lead roach here to try and get it dead quick. Then we're obviously going to be blinking things away as their shields start to go. And you'll notice that I will blink in a somewhat directional way. I'm going to try and put each successive one farther away, reshape the pattern that the roaches are coming in, and it will allow my second blink to be on a slightly more recovered stalker, or in the order that I want, in a predictable order, so that you're not just guessing on your blinks. You can actually kind of plan it ahead.
I am the heart of darkness.
All right, on round 24 here,